Lexus, who encourages you to experience amazing. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, through it all. Ford, who invites you to go further in their fuel-efficient vehicles. Check out our entire lineup at your local Ford store or buyfordnow.com. Menards, save big money at Menards. And Southwest Airlines, yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency.
You can follow Patrick Mooney, our Cubs insider, on CSNChicago.com, presented by Nationwide's Jeff Vukovich, serving the community for 38 years. Go to jeffvuk.com. Nationwide is on your side. Great to have Patrick with us today. Ian Happ, you've been writing about him, the Cubs Talk podcast with Jason McLeod about the 2015 draft. He's here, and he might be here for longer than we thought.
I think that's the sense we're all kind of getting here, that he's played his way into that conversation and keeps giving them reasons not to send him back to AAA Iowa. And I think what's impressed me, at least, there were these questions coming out of college whether or not he could actually play defense. Was this kind of versatility a cover for a guy who didn't really actually have a position? And he's really turned into this kind of ideal Joe Maddon player, someone who can play all over the outfield. The Cubs insist that he could play second base in the big leagues, and he's really given Joe a lot of flexibility in terms of that, and also being a switch hitter at a time when this offense could kind of use a jolt.
Talking with somebody earlier today about the idea of, kind of a veteran team. Cubs have a lot of young position players, but they've got some veteran pitchers, and just how you handle a rookie. He was their best player in spring training, so I don't think he had to really prove anything to anybody when he got here over the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, and he said he was a sponge, seeing what Ben Zobrist did, how some of these young stars handled himself, and I think it goes back to, Cubs had a very specific idea of what they wanted at the top of the draft, these kind of polished college hitters with good makeup, and, we were wondering, would they maybe try and force a college pitcher knowing that's what they needed, or would they kind of gamble and roll the dice on a high school pitcher, and they kind of stuck with what they know, and he got here kind of right on schedule, and at a time when I think we all thought this team needed a little bit of a shakeup and kind of a source of energy, and he's certainly provided it here over these last couple of days.
Jason Hayward may still be a few days away, but even when he comes back, there may be a way to keep him on this roster.
I think so. I mean, Maddon is not concerned about Happ's long-term development, and if he needs to play every day, I think he's shown that he's a manager who finds those solutions for guys like Happ. He can do a lot of different things for them, and I do think you'll see him here, at least for the time being.
All right, always good stuff from our guy, Patrick Mooney. Now our national anthem.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we've hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the rampart we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Welcome back to Wrigley Field. The finality between the Cubs and Reds is on the way. This is your Miller Lite Game Report. And Billy Williams, a very warm welcome to Metta Robinson, the granddaughter of Jackie Robinson, her first time here at Wrigley Field. And this is a very special afternoon because it marks the 70th anniversary of the first game Jackie ever played at Wrigley Field. And Metta Robinson here got to raise his 42 number up the right field foul pole, and we got a chance to sit down and talk to her and just everything that this day and her grandfather means to her.
Well, today is especially special for me because not only did I have the opportunity to raise the flag and really honor my grandfather and continue what you guys, what you're celebrating, but it's my first time here. And so it's my first time at Wrigley Field, and so Julian was telling me how my grandfather played here, and he showed me the dugout, and I almost wanted to reach and touch it because I didn't get to meet my grandfather, so anything that he's touched is always something that I want to be a part of.
Such a wonderful ceremony this afternoon. Beautiful here at Wrigley Field. The 42 Robinson flag blowing out, as all of the flags are this afternoon. And we'll have first pitch on the way. Lynn Casper, Jim DeShays will be coming up right after this break.
Russell from his knees. Save.
Oh, they called him out.
The
game is over.
Wow. They found a replay that showed he was on the bag.
2 in a row to get this homestand started.
Cubs baseball on CSN Chicago is presented by State Farm. Another windy and sunny day here at Wrigley Field as the Cubs go for the 3-game series sweep. Cubs hosting the Cincinnati Reds. Great to have you with us here in the friendly confines. It is lefty day. Amir Garrett for the Reds. John Lester will pitch for the Cubs. Cubs winning this series. It's their first series victory in their last 4 tries. The win certainly has been a factor this week, although, as we mentioned a few minutes ago, Jim DeShays, the Cubs did not need a home run last night.
No, surprising given the conditions and given the fact that it's the Cincinnati Reds, because the Cubs seem to always hit home runs when facing Reds pitching. That was not the case last night. They didn't need it. Had one big inning. They will play a little add-on later on in the ball game. Managed to make that a lead hold up, and today they turn the ball over to John Lester, who's been so good here at Wrigley Field. I'm anxious to see the Red starter, Amir Garrett, the former basketball player from St. John's, had a very good spring, getting great reviews for his work so far as a big leaguer. So yet again, we've had a slew of these first timers that the Cubs have faced here in the last couple of weeks.
As you saw, the new flag hanging on the right field foul pole. This is the 70th anniversary of Jackie Robinson's Wrigley Field debut. It is the only remaining major league park in which Jackie played. May 18, 1947, through 46,572. That is the largest paid regular season crowd to this day in the ballpark's history. So John Lester ready to work. And he'll face the following Reds Southwest starting lineup. The Reds have lost 5 in a row. That is a season-long losing streak. But consistency in terms of the lineup 1 through 8 has been the same the entire series. Hamilton, Cozart, who's homered in 5 straight here at Wrigley, dating back to last year. Votto, Duvall, Suarez, and Schebler in the middle. Jose Peraza at second. It's Tucker Barnhart back of the plate, and the pitcher, Garrett.
Cubs on defense this afternoon. Shape up this way. Ian Happ, he's moved all over the place. He's going to play left field this afternoon. Albert Almora Jr. will control center. Ben Zobrist is in right. Bryant and Russell on the left side of the infield. Baez and Rizzo cover the right side. Wilson Contreras is the catcher this afternoon, and the Lexus starting pitcher. Experience amazing. Will be the 4-time All-Star, the veteran left-hander John Lester. He's only managed to pick up 1 win along the way, despite some really good work. So 1-2 with a 3.45 ERA for John. 47 innings. He's allowed 46 hits, walked 20, punched out 49. This will be start number 2 for John against the Reds of this year. No decision against them over at their place back on April 21st. In that ball game, he went 5 2/3, allowed 9 hits, 5 runs.
Your umpires, Ed Hickox will work home plate. The crew chief, Jerry Meals, is at first base. Tom Woodring is at second base, and Ron Culpa will handle third.
John's last start, he suffered the loss in St. Louis. 5 2/3, 6 innings, or 6 hits, 4 runs, 3 earned, walked 4, punched out 9. He's had back-to-back 9 strikeout games. That zone in St. Louis was pretty tight. A lot of pitches down around the knees. He did not get called, so we'll keep an eye on that here today, because he's awfully good when he gets that low strike called.
First pitch swinging, Billy Hamilton rolls it foul. He's 7 for 13 with 2 home runs against John Lester. Pinched in at the corners. Low for a ball. We've got a west wind at 14 miles an hour. It was out of the southwest at 20 Tuesday night. Last night out of the south at 24. '77 beautiful degrees.
Lovely day for ball. Sinker.
Ground ball toward the middle. Russell's got it. And he gets Hamilton for the first out.
Always a challenge for an infielder with Hamilton going down the line to stay in rhythm. You know, you got to be quick, but you don't want to be, too urgent and mishandle. And you'll see how quickly Russell is able to get this ball out of his glove and on its way to first base.
We could, and Cub fans are hoping we do not, witness history today here in this iconic ballpark. Zach Cozart is the 7th player ever to hit a home run in 5 consecutive games here at Wrigley Field. One of 3 visiting players, joining Carlos Beltran 2004 and Mike Schmidt in 1980 to do it. No player has ever hit a homer in 6 straight games here at Wrigley, and he's 0 for 1. Flying out to Almora. And the conditions, I would say, are favorable for him to have a shot at it.
Yeah, favorable for that. Favorable for some funkiness on pop-ups and fly balls. Not only the wind, but tough sky overhead.
Joey Votto smacks one out into deep left center, and it's going to one-hop the wall. Votto at second with a double.
Yeah, we see more of that out of Votto these days than in the past, with that being first pitch swinging. Beautiful swing by Votto. He'll go into that, especially against a left-handed pitcher. He'll go into that almost two-strike approach earlier, choke up a little bit, get a little lower in his stance.
Adam Duvall, the left fielder. Runner at second, 2 outs. Just underway. And a strike. Hey, get well wishes to Win Griffiths, who had to take the day off. He's been under the weather this week. And we hope you're back here real soon, Win.
Now there's a phrase worth contemplating.
What would that be? Get well soon?
Under the weather.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm sure there's a good explanation for its origins. The Reds do not score. The Cubs hope to be above the weather today. Starting lineup, then Zobrist will lead it off as Kyle Schwarber gets the day off. Bryant, Rizzo, Ian Happ in there cleaning up again. Contreras, the catcher, he had a good opener on Tuesday. Russell, Baez, the pitcher, Lester, and Albert Almora Jr. in center.
Here are the Reds defensively. They've been really good. A little sloppy last night, but they've been arguably the best defensive team in the league. They've committed 17 errors. The outfield is the speedster Hamilton in center. He's got Schebler on one side, Duvall the other. Suarez, Cozart, Peraza, Votto on the infield. Tucker Barnhart has caught every day in this series. Devin Mesoraco's got a little bit of a hamstring issue. The Lexus starting pitcher is Amir Garrett. He's made 6 starts. He's 3-2 with a .425. Fastball, slider, and a real good changeup. Lexus experience amazing, and he marks his turf. He puts an A on the mound for Amir when he goes out there.
Says that is my mound. And a first pitch strike on the switch hitting Ben Zobrist. I guess he'll do it every inning.
Well, whatever it takes. I think if I were a Cub hitter, I'd be tempted with making my way back towards the dugout to just kind of drag my foot across that.
Leadoff man is presented by Benny's Beverage Depot. If Ben Zobrist gets a hit here, Benny's will donate $100 to the Greater Chicago Food Depository.
So Garrett's got a little bit of a funky motion. He jumps at the hitter a little bit, kind of a short arm delivery. Looks like he's got a quick stroke. It could create some deception. He's not a real hard thrower. He'll touch 94, but typically sit around 91, 92.
Popped up, shallow center. Peraza looking for some help, and he'll get it from Billy Hamilton. Speaking of a quick stroke, I'm sure that was the scouting report on Garrett as a college basketball player.
Yeah, 6'5", small forward at St. John's for a couple of seasons before moving on to Cal Northridge. Apparently he won the National High School Slam Dunk Competition.
Yeah, when he was a senior in high school in Henderson, Nevada. And a strike on Las Vegas native Chris Bryant. Garrett back from the minor leagues. He's been probably their most effective starter, but with off days and to limit his innings, they sent him back to AAA. Made one start there before returning for today's action.
Might have been some roster manipulation there too in terms of service time. Yeah, you look at the ERA and you go 4.25. That doesn't really get your attention, but he had one start at Milwaukee where he allowed 9 earned runs in 3 1/3. Throw that one out and he's got a 2.20 earned run average for the other 5.
Swing and a miss. 2-2 on Bryant. Cubs have jumped ahead of the Reds into 3rd in the Central, trailing the Brewers and the Cardinals as we near the quarter pole of the season. Barrett Aston was sent to the minor leagues to make room for Garrett. And ball 4.
Well, Brian, such a savvy hitter. He understands rarely is he going to get challenged on that 3-2 pitch. Every now and then you'll fool him with a changeup in that situation, but usually recognizes spin early and that breaking ball out of his zone. Doesn't chase very often.
Strike on Rizzo, who will host his annual cook-off for cancer tonight downtown. Cubs do wonderful work in the community. Just got a note from the Cubs. Jake Arrieta will grab a paintbrush on Monday. Up. Sun really an issue here.
Take a little more, Chris. Take a little more.
Throw to second. Save. Peraza looked like he had trouble finding his footing and where the bag was, and he is telling Brian Price he thinks Bryant is out. But we'll see.
Yeah, boy, it's just a tough read for a base runner. You go too far, you risk getting doubled off at first base. And once you see the infielder or anybody trying to track that pop-up, start to scramble a little bit, and you got to ease a little further along. And oh no, he's safe.
Yeah, I think he missed the bag on that first try.
I think Hamilton has time to make an overhand throw. I mean, he makes that long underhand toss. If he just comes over the top and gets a little something on that throw, that buys Peraza a little time to find the base.
So it's a hit for Rizzo. While it may not have been a hard hit, when you're batting .221, you'll take it. Ian Happ batting right-handed.
That's a little karma for all that good work
Yep.
he does in the community.
Yeah, so Jake Arrieta, with a facility enhancement project he will be a part of here in the Lakeview neighborhood next Monday. Stopping at John Elementary School. One on Happ. Fouled down the right field line. Programming note, we are on CSN the next couple of days against the Brewers. You have a family event, so you'll be on assignment for a very good reason.
Yep, daughter Kelly is graduating college, so I'll be back for that. Appreciate Kerry Wood and Ryan Dempster for stepping in.
Schebler was playing shallow and almost took off over him. So 2 outs, and it'll bring up Wilson Contreras. Yeah, Kerry Wood will step in tomorrow, and then Ryan Dempster on Saturday.
Fans no doubt will have a lot of fun with those two guys, as will you.
Safe travels this weekend.
Thank you.
Yeah, there it is. For Kerry Wood's 20 strikeout performance in 1998. Contreras fouls out of play. He had 2 hits on Tuesday night.
Chatting with Woody yesterday, and got talking about the 20 strikeout game, and he was telling, and you were mentioning how in all the 20 strikeout games in history, there's been 5 of them, there hasn't been a single walk issued.
Correct.
And he was telling a story about going 3-0 on Dave Clark and throwing him 3 consecutive curveballs to punch him out.
One and one. Right. He had the scouting report that
Gracie told him. Mark said, "Hey,
Clark
this
can
guy
hit a fastball.
He can hit the. He can handle velocity." Although that stuff that he was running up there that day, I don't know. I don't know if he's going to handle it. Like so many Cub hitters, scuffling here in the month of May.
Hold on the ground, foul past third.
Oh, tremendous footwork by the ball boy down there. Still let it go through the 5-hole.
He's challenging himself without a glove.
Just look at the sliding. Just a little late getting down.
Well, if he had a glove, he'd have made it.
Oh, absolutely.
Under 19th century rules.
He may be in the witness protection program too. He's Bid McPhee. So breezy. Easy now, easy, nowhere to go. Garrett, like Lester, pretty much works down, down, down.
Laser foul And we'll do it again.
Contreras having a good at bat here.
Wow. Bob Nightingale just tweeted, the Braves have confirmed Freddie Freeman has a fractured wrist. It's out till after the All-Star break. I guess Ken Rosenthal had the scoop.
What a blow.
That is a big loss. MVP candidate Contreras takes the walk. They're loaded for Addison Russell.
Well, similar to the second inning last night. Scott Feldman had some command issues. Cubs showed patience and were able to cash in.
One hit in this series for Russell. That was a home run Tuesday.
Well, and that's why you really have to like the Cubs' position, because they've been hovering around 500, but they've got so many struggling hitters, and sooner or later that's not going to be the case. Addy hitting just a $136 here in May, hitting 167 at Wrigley, where he was so good last year. A lot of big days ahead for him. No, sir. Ball's down. Hart may have stolen one there.
It's a pitch both starters would love to get all day if they can. Inside this time, 2-2. And it's a pitch. By and large, we have seen home plate umpires not call a strike so far this season. Full count with the bases full of Cubs.
Garrett staring in as if he wanted that one. That's a nice job by Russell. A lot of guys who get that tough pitch called against you get a little overly anxious, especially with the bases loaded.
Everybody will go on the 3-2. He walked in and forces in a run. Cubs lead 1-0.
Garrett complaining about that pitch too, and it clearly off the plate. Just a little frustrated. His first ever appearance here in Wrigley Field. He got a lot of adrenaline, no doubt. High pressure situation, you tend to beg a little bit more, but that's not a strike.
Early visit from Mac Jenkins. Scott Feldman could not get out of the third last night. They got great work from their bullpen to keep them in the game. But Brian Price doesn't want to go to that pen again early today.
You know what Garrett appears to be right now?
What's that?
Flappable.
He does.
Yeah,
yes.
he looks a little flappable right now. We had that conversation about he's always unflappable, but rarely do we use the term flappable.
Three walks and a single. Lead by a run. 1-0 on buy-ins.
He is vulnerable right now. That's a story quite often for a starting pitcher. First inning, especially on the road, trying to settle in. Hung that changeup, got away with it. This much we know, highly unlikely Javi's going to walk. He's only walked one time this year, unintentionally.
0-2. 4 for 4 in the series. Batting 7th this afternoon. Lester, the pitcher, is on deck. Here it comes. And a drive to left. Grand slam time. 5-0 in the first.
Well, you could feel it coming. Garrett really struggling with his command. A dangerous hitter in the box who loves to swing the bat. RBIs 15, 16, 17, and 18 for Javi Baez. That's that elephant butt changeup. High and stinky and gone. Maybe a slider, whatever it was ugly. From Amir Garrett's point of view, it's just as pretty as can be for Javi Baez. That's your Ford home run replay, number 6.
This might have hit the bottom part of the board. Nice play, Peraza, to get Lester. Well, wherever it first hit out there, it was a blast. And the Cubs have a 5-0 lead after an inning. One more look at the grand slam by Baez. Chicago is presented by State Farm. This ball did not hit the board. This is our best look at where it landed. I thought maybe it had deflected, but nope, halfway up the bleachers. 415 feet. Third career grand slam. 2 have been against the Reds. John Lester getting the same run support early that Kyle Hendricks got as the Cubs put up 5 in the second inning last night.
We'll talk about it often. A starting pitcher, especially one of Lester's caliber, his mind immediately switches to my game. That's a W. Doesn't always play out that way.
One strike on Eugenio Suarez, make it 0-2. 158 his last 9 games after a sizzling start out of the gate.
Five out of 20 with a couple of home runs for Suarez against Lester. He was 3-1 with a 3.72 ERA in his career against Cincinnati. This is his 11th start against the Cincinnati ball club.
One of the narratives around this Cubs team to begin the year was the first inning runs allowed and allowed 43 runs through the first 40 games, including today. So good to see the Cubs be that team to score first. Drilled out into left center. Suarez with an aggressive turn. He's going to try to make it to second, and he will.
John looking back over his shoulder at the big board to see the replay, wanted to see where that pitch was. It was pretty much center cut, and he doesn't throw many right over the heart of the plate. Previous one they were trying to go in on, and he left up and away, and this one's in a sweet zone for Suarez.
Schebler, the right fielder, 0 for 10 over his last 3 games. Bounces to Rizzo, who will take it to the bag. Suarez now at third with 1 out.
This Sunday, Cubs and the Brewers play at 1:20, and up to the first 10,000 early arriving fans will receive a replica 2016 National League Champions pennant presented by Ideal Industries. After the game, the first 1,000 kids 13 and younger will have the opportunity to run the bases, weather permitting. For more information, visit Cubs.com. Ooh, quality baby. Having a little beverage. Need some shades, need baby shades.
Line to Bryant for the out. Peraza retired on the first pitch.
Peraza's got outstanding hands, good bat to ball skills. Looks like he's going to be able to hit for a pretty high average as a big leaguer. Not much power. Not really patient. A good contact man.
Devin Mesoraco probably would have been in the lineup today, but he's dealing with a hamstring issue. Barnhart in there again, and here's the Baez grand slam. Watch Barnhart's reaction. He couldn't even look. That is the look of defeat.
It's also the look of a catcher that's invested. That's what you like to see.
1-1. The Midwest represented pretty well in this matchup. Barnhart, an Indiana native. Kyle Schwarber not in the Cubs lineup, but he's from Ohio. Ian Happ from Pittsburgh, but played college ball at the University of Cincinnati. Scott Schebler's from Iowa. Close, didn't get it.
Yeah,
2-2.
And maybe, Contreras had to reach back across his body. That was higher than the one he called in the previous half inning.
Ben Zobrist from downstate Illinois. Swing and a miss. Red Strand Suarez at third. It's the Cubs 5 and the Reds nothing early. world champions Chicago Cubs finally warming up. Great time to come out and catch a game or two at Wrigley Field. Tickets are still available for the remaining games in this homestand, especially for next week's 4-game set with the San Francisco Giants. Get your tickets now at Cubs.com. Five-run first inning, highlighted by the Javier Baez grand slam.
Dave Cella down there making some friends. I'll put you on camera if you give me a fry.
Here's Al Moore to lead off. Top foul back out of play. So I don't know if I have all of the weird stuff that happened in the Blue Jays Braves game last night, but it was a lot, right? Freddie Freeman hit by a pitch, broken wrist. You had a Kevin Pillar, Jason Mott moment, after which I guess Pillar had to apologize to Mott. You had Jose Bautista with a bat flip, which upset the Braves.
Yeah, bench is empty there, and or at least they did after the Pillar incident.
Those two teams playing again today in Atlanta. That'll be 6:35 Central Time start. Stroman and Tehran. Line to the shortstop, Cozart.
Another off-speed pitch up in the zone, and it was contrary to the scouting report we've gotten on Garrett that he's really good at keeping the ball down, and that changeup is an effective pitch for him. But just struggling here. He got ambushed early, and now the challenge for the young pitcher is to stay competitive, keep your wits about you. Sent down to AAA. He made one start, pitched a couple of innings, and struck out all 6 batters he faced.
There's a 1-1, and Zobrist fouls. Garrett's timeline: 22nd round pick, 2011, by the Reds. Got about $1 million in terms of his signing bonus as Zobrist singles into right, with the idea that he could play college basketball. He actually didn't play organized hoops until he was a high school freshman, and was immediately on the varsity team. I mentioned the slam dunk contest he won. He was born in Victorville, California. Went to high school in Spring Valley, Nevada, Lawndale, California, finally Henderson, Nevada. That high school in Henderson, Findlay College Prep, did not have a baseball team. His dad wanted him to throw for scouts, and he did. He hit 96 on the gun, and that's why the Reds drafted him. His college career kind of mirrored his high school career. Moved around a lot. Bridgeton Academy in Maine, then headed to St. John's, and eventually Cal State Northridge, playing for Reggie Theus.
So while he was playing college basketball in the summertime, he was playing professional baseball.
Gave up hoops in 2014 and added some weight to his tall frame.
Yeah, that's his pickoff move there. The step, he does not use a conventional left-hander's pickoff move to first base. So if you're looking to go, once that front foot goes, you're free to sail.
Swing and a miss. It's 1-2.
If these guys ever cross paths as amateurs in Nevada, Garrett and Bryant.
Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss for strike 3. It's his first. And here's Rizzo.
Little slide ball that was making a liar out of me. That's the one I mentioned last time. He rarely chases.
Down the middle. Got a makeup doubleheader after a washout last night in Minneapolis. Rockies lead the Twins in game 1 5-1 in the 6th. Among the first place teams going into action today, the Twins, the Brewers, and the Rockies.
Pretty wacky, huh?
Yeah. Way outside, 1-2.
The Yankees currently in first place in the American League East, and while I think people thought they would be better, I don't think anybody thought they would be this good.
Brisk running, but the inning is over as Rizzo grounds out. After 2 complete, Cubs 5, Reds nothing.
Fans, show your team pride with Cubs checking and an official Cubs MasterCard debit card, only available at your local Wintrust Community Bank. Go to wintrust.com/Cubs to learn more. Member FDIC.
Here's Garrett looking for his first hit, takes a strike. And he bunts, this time foul. chopped up the middle. Now time for the Mini Countryman player profile. John Lester has dominated the competition at home. His last 14 times out, 10-0 with a 143 here at Wrigley Field.
First pitcher to have a 10-game winning streak in this ballpark since Ryan Dempster.
Swing and a miss by Hamilton on a curve.
Dempster won 10 straight here back in 2008. The last Cub was a longer winning streak than 10 was John Lieber. He won 13 consecutive home decisions spanning 01-02 seasons.
Ground ball. Rizzo will get back to the bag to get the throw from Baez. There'll be a little anxiety involved, as you mentioned earlier. Every time Hamilton hits a ball on the ground, the clock is ticking very quickly.
We've talked so much about the internal clock that baseball players have when making plays. You just have to turn that dial up a little bit with Hamilton.
Cozart at 347 on the season. And a strike.
Lee Kershaw at Dodger Stadium has outperformed John Lester at Wrigley Field. You see Hendricks right there as well.
Thought it was a terrific performance last night by Kyle. The numbers themselves were good, but I think even more impressive was it was not a good atmosphere to pitch with the wind howling out. He went 6 innings and gave up just 2 runs. That will drop in front of Almora.
No, Kyle's last 2 starts. The previous start was out in Denver at Coors Field, and he was good there. So he's been in tough conditions the last 2 times. He's thrown the ball really well. He's definitely trending in the right direction. Put a string of solid starts together now.
As John Jay to Kyle's left, I asked him how he's feeling today. He said he's fine after getting beamed by a Scott Feldman fastball last night. The Reds have a hit in every inning. Votto doubled in the first.
That came with 2 outs. A single comes with 2 outs. Where they were deficient was not taking advantage of the leadoff double by Suarez last inning. When you're down 5, you're going to take advantage of those opportunities. Front door cutter. Good try.
Pause, big leg kick, check swing bouncer, backhanded by Bryant. He's got some time and he throws out Bottom. Bottom 3. All Cubs early.
field. Cubs up 5-0. This is your Miller Lite game report. Ian Happ leading off the inning, getting a start in left field this afternoon. Maddon very impressed with his athleticism over the last couple of days. And just in talking to Happ this morning, he says he's definitely a morning person. So a big fan of these 120 starts, likes a lot of coffee, guys. He goes, that may be the best part about being with the big league club. They got every kind of coffee you could imagine. And also said he'd love to be a regular over at that new Starbucks. Was pretty impressed with that. So what better motivation to stay up with these guys, right, than some awesome coffee?
Yeah, life is good in the big leagues. 2 balls, no strikes on him. He lined to right in the first inning. He's reached base 8 out of 18 tries so far, and he's going to reach base again. Caffeine kicking in as Happ motors into second with a double.
This kid continues to impress. He hit a bullet last time up for an out to right field. This time he tries the other direction, and it's a leadoff 2-bagger. Great swing, isn't it? Stays through the zone real quick. He's an explosive player.
There's Contreras.
See him getting messages from his buddies down in AAA. What's the best thing about the big leagues? Oh, the coffee, man. It's all about the coffee.
1-0 to Contreras. All right, so I'll ask you. Your first go around in the big leagues, what was the one non-baseball thing you noticed back in the mid-'80s? It was better than the minors, other than the per diem and all that stuff.
Yeah, the food on the charters.
Happ back to tag, but he's going to stay at second. So the food on the plane.
Yeah, that was one thing that got your attention. You know, just the big league life. You know, like, oh my God, it just never stops coming. I mean, aside from all the other trappings, you know, media in the clubhouse was kind of got your attention. In the minor leagues, was there maybe like 1 or 2 people around?
Yeah. Especially for you with the Yankees and Ian Happ as a Cub. Swinging strike on Russell, who took a bases loaded walk to put the first run on the board.
I think now too for the modern player, especially a kid with Happ's pedigree, with top prospect status, getting called to the big leagues. He's not going to sneak into town. The fans knew he was coming. They're fully aware of who the best prospects are.
Garrett's 0-2, and he got him. Seems to be settling in a bit, although Baez would not let him do that in the first.
We'll put him on here. Pitch to Lester.
See what StatCast, powered by Amazon Web Services, front of that grand slam. 98.5 off the bat, 415 feet. Strike. I was alerted to the great Mike Royko's October 25th, 1972 column, Sun-Times, the day Jackie Robinson passed away. I'll get into that a little later. As Lester Bounces out to the pitcher, and we go to the fourth. It's still 5-0 Cubs. In Atlanta, I guess Pilar was upset with a former Cub Mott for a quick pitch, and I guess what he said was allegedly pretty offensive to Jason. And he did apologize today, correct?
Somewhat.
Okay,
is what I'm reading.
Now this is the one. Look. And even Jose Bautista, I think, admitted later it was a bit much what he did with the bat flip. But here's the thing. You know, pitchers pump their fists and yell and when they get a big strikeout at the end of an inning. Why do we spend so much emotional time on these things? Does it really matter that he just flipped his bat?
Yeah, it's just rooted in the history of the game. When players take umbrage when other players do things that they feel it shows them up.
Yep, it's always been that way and probably always will be. Late adjustment, Zobrist.
Again, with the wind in the sky, anything hit like that is going to be a real challenge here today. The way to practice is to go out on a real windy day and throw those seed pods. We used to call them little helicopters, throw those up in the air and try to catch them. I don't know the answer. The problem is, if there was ever a universal approach to the game, if the game got to the point where everybody said, okay, that's just part of the game, flipping bats and pumping fists, we're just going to accept it, then we would be fine. Or if you went back to the more old school mentality where, no, we're not going to accept that, nobody's going to be happy with that, so let's just not do it. The problem is we're caught in this in-between era where some guys are good with it, other guys are not, and there are going to be issues.
Emotions take over. Guys beat up Gatorade jugs in the dugout when they get upset. But I don't know.
I think, I would prefer that people do it the way Chris Bryant does it. Hits the ball ballpark, sets the bat down, runs around the bases like he's been there before. I do understand how fans think it's fun to see the big bat flip and the histrionics. That's kind of fun. I get that too. I think a lot of it is just the time of the game. When a guy hits a big home run at a big moment, a walk-off or a big late inning home run, if he's pumping his fist going down the line, I get that. As a pitcher, I wouldn't get too worked up about that. But the staring out at me, flipping the bat like, yeah, I own you, pal.
Right.
That's going to get your attention.
Suarez strikes out. Anyway, if you can find it, it's all over the internet, the Royko column. He was at that game 70 years ago today and wrote about it. I'm quoting from the piece he wrote in '72. Robinson, Jackie Robinson, came up in the first inning. I remember the sound. It wasn't the shrill teenage cry you now hear or an excited gut roar. They applauded, long rolling applause. When he stepped into the batter's box, it was as if someone had flicked a switch. The place went silent. He swung at the first pitch. They erupted as if he had knocked it over the wall, but it was only a high foul that dropped into the box seats. Mike Royko on Jackie Robinson. A play, Baez. He's had a good start to this one. And the Reds go 1-2-3 for the first time today. 5-zip Cubs.
Magic of last year's historic run with the official 2016 championship season Fly the W book, which features personal essays by Tom Ricketts, Theo Epstein, and a host of others, as well as never before seen photos. For more information, visit Cubs.com/flythewbook.
Almora line to the shortstop his first time, and he could not hold up. 0-1.
He's floated a few changeups up in the zone. Ideal location, but he has gotten some swings and misses. That gives you a sense of how good that arm action is on that changeup. There's another one. Merritt wants him to get it down.
And he did. 1-2. Gorgeous day. Nothing but blue sky everywhere we look. It'll cool off tomorrow. The wind and the 2-2. Bounced foul. Willie Peralta was in that first slot. He has been put in the bullpen, so we're not sure who will start against Eddie Butler tomorrow. Just for the record, you are not coming out of retirement and pitching for the Brewers. This is not some sort of ruse.
Well, stay tuned.
It's a good tease. Called strike 3.
Yeah, maybe off the plate inside, but good work by Garrett to get Almora Jr. his third strikeout.
Zobrist 1 for 2, singled in the second. Third time he has been in the leadoff spot. He's got a 17-game on base streak. Including this game today, the Cubs have scored 44 runs in 6 games against the Reds this season, including 12 homers. That's 2 a game. Changeup that was not in a preferred location, even though he got the called strike.
Yeah, it looks like he every now and then he'll kind of get out of his delivery, jump towards the hitter, and the arm drags. That leaves the changeup up. But there's certainly a willingness for him to pitch inside to the right-handed hitters.
Back K's. Now it's Bryant.
Goes back for that inside corner. The one to Almora was off the plate. This one appeared to be a little bit better. Probably thought maybe it was down a little bit. Pitcher's pitch. And when you're respecting changeup, that's a tough pitch to do anything with.
Center field, deep, gone. Chris Bryant with a home run. That's his 8th, and it's 6-0.
Yeah, he's been having some good swings lately. You know, it was just a matter of time before he hit another one out of the ballpark, straightaway center field this time for Bryant. He's been the Cubs' most consistent performer. A Ford home run replay. Beautiful swing. Better result. Fun to watch that shot of the fans behind the dugout rising with the baseball. I wonder what their launch angle was.
Strike on Rizzo. Make it 0-2.
Imagine the rest of the league taking notice of this series. If the Cubs had been struggling offensively, 9 runs in game 1, 7 runs yesterday, 6 so far here today.
So 3 strikeouts, but also the home run by Bryant. And the Cubs now lead 6-0 at the end of 4. During every CSN Cubs game, we are streaming live. So if you're stuck at work and want to watch the game, maybe even secretively, head to CSNChicago.com or download the NBC Sports app presented by State Farm. John Lester with a 6-0 lead. In the air to right. Easy plays Zobrist. Peraza's out.
And John with just one win so far, but easily could have 4 or 5. He's had 4 starts already this year where he's allowed 1 earned run or none and gotten a no decision.
Mesoraco, we mentioned, with a hamstring issue. Last played on Sunday in San Francisco. Reds are trying to figure out if they need to put him on the DL.
Where he spent so much time the last couple of years, just as he was really coming into his own. 2014, he had 25 home runs, led all catchers at OPS. Maybe a star in the making. Played very little baseball since then. Been a contender.
The 2-1. This aggressive play by Bryant, but he threw it away. He got there quickly and then threw high for an error. Not sure what happened there.
Got the ball in good shape, stayed low. Looked like he was under control, a little crow hop.
We've got a pinch hitter for Garrett. Patrick Kivlahan. Brian Price only gets 4 innings out of his starter today.
Kivlahan's got a little power, decent home run numbers as a minor leaguer, so I'm sure that's what Price is thinking. We can pop one here, get a little something going. This is just the second base runner the Reds have had on first today. Cozart and now Barnhart not taking the big leads you normally see.
Another chance for Bryant. This time he'll throw to second, and they force Barnhart.
Brian Price's philosophy now with Lester on the mound is, look, we've challenged this guy in the past. We know all about the fact that he doesn't throw to first base, but the running game has not been a winning proposition against the Cubs. His quickness to the plate, Contreras with that big arm behind the plate, has been able to nullify a lot of base runners. Stretching it out a little bit, but still not as big as we've seen.
Hamilton. There's at strike 1.
Good changeup. And Lester's gotten a lot of swings and misses at that pitch. The change fading down and away. Perfectly executed. Doesn't use it a lot. He's using it more than he has in the past. But check out the strikeout percentage he's getting on his changeup. More than 18% of his punch outs coming with that pitch. he's such a tough read for a hitter. Very consistent with that arm slot. They have to make up their mind whether it's going to be that cutter going down and in or the sinker going down and away, and the changeup comes out of that same slot as the two-seamer.
No swing. So it's Jerry Meals. Huge lead by Kivlahan, not running. 2-2.
Yeah, and what the big lead does for a lot of these guys is it takes away the secondary. Because of Contreras' arm, they'll take the big initial lead, but they don't want to stray too far off for fear of getting picked off. So as the pitch is being delivered, they're flat-footed, and in some instances, even though they know that John's not going to throw to first base, they'll start to creep back towards the bag a little bit. Average lead is about 11 or 12 feet. We've seen a couple instances this year of base runners going before first move, trying to anticipate that, and John able to make the play on the run, flipping the ball to the second baseman.
Caught by Russell. So the one-out error does not hurt. It's still 6-0. A variety of luxury premier options, and first, Blake Wood.
Blake Wood in the house. Blake Wood is a hard-throwing right-hander who is pitching for the 19th time. And he has pitched to a 4.08 ERA. Good stuff. Command can sometimes be an issue for him.
Ian Happ batting from the left side. Two good swings. Right-handed, a line out and a double off the starter Garrett. I'd like to welcome all our viewers watching on F&B Communications in Wheatland, Iowa. Two and one.
So Garrett put the big A on the mound for Amir. And Wood should put a B there. They can do their ADCs here today.
Swing and a miss. Full count on Happ, Contreras, and Russell also scheduled here in the Cubs' fifth. That is a walk. Poised Ian Happ, 22-year-old rookie. Now Contreras.
Yeah, that was a flip a coin. That he could have been rung up there, but he has shown good patience. That walk with the bases loaded the other night, it got everybody's attention.
That walk issued by Reds pitching. And Contreras threw something in the dirt near the on-deck circle with his index finger before he walked to the plate. Called strike. Bounce to third. Fair ball. Suarez boxed it for the Reds, who came in as the top-rated defensive club in baseball. They've been shaky this week, and they're in one of those modes that the Cubs had been in recently, and it is an error on Suarez.
Yeah,
it feels like every error really comes back to bite him.
Well, when you're walking people and you're not making plays on balls in play and the wind's blowing out, it's a formula for disaster. A little bit of a tough break for Contreras because he might have beaten that play at first base. No knock and E5.
Suarez had been playing stellar defense at third. That's his second error of the year. It's the plays that aren't made, right? It's the bloop single by Rizzo in the first. It was lost in the sun. That really opened the door.
Yeah. Combination, right? You gotta make plays, and every now and then pitchers have to pick up the defense as well. Pitch around an error or two.
Try to turn two, and they can only get one because of the shift. Cozart had a long run over there to second base.
Provide another RBI opportunity for Baez. Lester on deck. Don't be surprised if you see a safety squeeze in this situation.
One. Pirates all over the Nationals, 10-4, bottom of the 8th in Pittsburgh.
Would no doubt confusing Baez a little bit here, going fastball in the zone. Javi sees so many breaking pitches out of the zone. Try a changeup.
The Pirates hang on. That would be a series win for them. first place Nationals. Big injuries in the National League so far this year. Adam Eaton, Madison Bumgarner, Freddie Freeman. Go on and on. That's into right for a base hit. Happ will score. 7-0.
It's an elevated fastball, and Baez able to just get on top of it and nudge it through the right side of the infield.
His 5th RBI today. It's a season high for a Cub. 5 knocked in.
Now you can most assuredly expect to see that safety squeeze.
Banged one off the top of the wall in St. Louis in his last start. Almost grabbed his first career home run. I tried the other way. Is this the one? No. Caught by Duvall, but it will be a sac fly. Nice try, John. You almost made me look really, really smart. 8-0.
How did that not get out of here? The wind must have turned around. It would have been out of here last night. So off the wall in St. Louis. To the wall here. He'll have to settle for a sac fly.
Funny, isn't it? Lackey's laughing. Lester is not. And you know, if the situation were reversed, it would be the same. It's easy to laugh when you're not pitching. And when you're leading 8-0.
Yeah, especially an 8-0 game.
That helps.
Everybody in that Cub dugout was probably screaming, "Get out of here," except for Lackey. He's probably saying just the opposite.
Well, this has been the norm. The Cubs basically averaging 8 per game against the Reds this season. Two-one count. Almora fouls, takes the mask off Barnhart in the process.
Reds had won 7 out of 8, including game 1 of their series in San Francisco. Then they dropped the final 3 there. And on the verge of being swept here.
Ball 4. check out the variety of luxury premier options that Wrigley Field has to offer for your next client, corporate, or family function, like the all-inclusive Fannie Mae Suite located in center field. Go to Cubs.com/premier for an option that fits your needs. Reds will head home after this ball game and host the Rockies this weekend in Cincinnati. And they have their 4-game home and home interleague set next week with Cleveland. Strike one on Zobrist. Two runs in. RBIs by Baez and Lester here in the 5th. Wood at the set, now the pitch. Base hit to right. Baez around third. Schebler's throw is late. 9-0.
Well, after missing a few days with that tight bag, Ben Zobrist has looked really good. That bat really flying through the zone. A couple of hits last night, 2 more here today. Timed up that fastball and able to get on top of it, even though it's way up above the belt. So he reads the play, sees the go at third base, sees the high throw, and gets himself into scoring position.
Mac Jenkins has been out there a lot in this series.
And the one thing we really haven't seen from these Reds pitchers taking all these beat downs is nobody's really pushed back. You know, there hasn't been anybody pushed off the plate.
Right-hander Robert Stevenson in their bullpen. The way it's gone lately in terms of the allotment of innings, I wonder if Brian Price might be contemplating a position player a little later today. Is caught by Cozart. Got a good break on it. And nabbed that Bryant liner. Cubs though add 3 more. It's 9-0.
to the 6th here at Wrigley. Cubs up 9-0. This is your Miller Lite game report. And of course, John Lester throwing a tremendous game this afternoon. One of the interesting conversations with John coming into this season was him being without battery mate, longtime battery mate David Ross, and he explained how it was interesting how he wished he had spent more time picking the brain of a teammate like Jason Varitek back in the day. 14-year career in the majors, and he said he was just always that guy, the great teammate, the guy to pick you up, the guy to explain different things to his teammates. And John feels like that's the role he's kind of moved into himself with this Cubs team, in a leadership type of role, guys. And John Lester just always evaluating the different stages of his career when he has a chance to not be preparing for a game like today.
Thank you, Kelly. 1-2 the count on Zach Cozart. There was some talk in spring training about Joey Votto kind of embracing his veteran wisdom and being a little more open with his teammates. And why wouldn't you want to learn from Joey Votto if you're a young Cincinnati Red? Cozart strikes out.
Yeah, there's certainly things veteran players pick up along the way that they can pass on to young players. You know, some guys come into the league as young players and already have a really good idea in terms of how to approach the game. And there are other guys, veteran players who have been around a long time, that could still stand to learn a lesson or two. Sometimes you have to be humble enough to realize that.
Well, I think it's that. And I think the other part of it, and tell me if you agree or not, is the amount of preparation you need to get yourself ready and the kind of mental capacity you have to then go help others, right? Because I think Votto is one of those guys who kind of got into his own world of all the things he needed to do to prepare for a game. And you know, you get tunnel vision sometimes, right?
Yeah.
So it's not that you're not a leader, it's just that you need to spend so much time with yourself to get ready and making sure you have time for other guys in the clubhouse.
Yeah, and that's why a lot of older players, guys who are either towards the end of their careers or maybe out of the game now, lament the post game, hanging around talking about the game, because that doesn't go on as much now as it used to. And I think that's where a lot of those lessons were passed on, because it is tougher in pregame or in game.
The 3-1 is outside for ball 4. First time Lester has walked a hitter today, and not a big surprise that it would be Votto.
John has only made 68 pitches. He's not given up much hard contact. Punched out 3.
The other part of this conversation too is the idea of, I guess, tactfulness, right? As Duvall sends one high and foul to left. But the idea of sitting in a dugout, right? And you can watch other pitchers and probably go, he's not doing that right. But you can't just go up to a guy and go, hey, work on this. Because sometimes the answer might be, you work on your thing, I'll work on my thing.
Yeah.
So there's a way to do it without angering a teammate.
There has to be a relationship there first. Well, it's kind of like if you're on the golf course. There's a lot of folks that they just don't, myself included, don't really embrace advice from other golfers. You're out there hacking it around, and somebody else, hey man, you need to keep your shoulder in, and come on, you can't process that.
One and one.
It's the old Yogi Berra line. You can observe a lot just by watching.
Right.
That's probably the best way. Just watch. Pay attention.
That ball fooled Baez. Like he stabbed at it at the last second, and it might have slightly changed direction. That's a play he normally would make.
Yeah, I don't know if second base umpire screened him a little bit there as well. I think that may have been the case. A little net front presence.
That first look we had, you could see the ball did slightly change direction to the left. Watch. There, and it just kicked a little left. And again, an error on Baez.
Yeah, unfortunate because of the pace of that ball, that would have been an easy double play.
Well, the pitch count is John Lester looking to go very deep into this game.
He's just trying to get low and like a goalie, see through the screen. Can't put it on the umpire. He's got to be somewhere.
Yeah, and they work with the infielders. If he's in the way, that is Tom Woodring. Baez will say, hey, could you move a little bit to your left?
Used to be that umpire, though, years ago would position himself out in shallow center, wouldn't he? Fairly typical umpiring mechanic years ago.
That sounds right. Swing and a miss for out number 2.
Slow curveball. Suarez well out in front. A couple of Hall of Famers celebrating birthdays today. Brooks Robinson is 80. Reggie Jackson 71 today.
Swing and a miss by Shepler.
Those of us of a certain age will remember Brooks Robinson, those Oriole teams, late 60s, early 70s. The human vacuum cleaner.
Strikes to Shepler. 2 on for the Reds for the first time. How old did you say Reggie is?
71.
He looks great. Ran into him at the visiting clubhouse here at Wrigley when the Yankees were in town.
Was he stirring a drink when he went in there?
He was not. He was talking about the clubhouse and the fact that NFL teams got dressed up there when the Bears played here. I think he was giving some of the younger Yankees a little history lesson. look. Reggie probably never played here.
I was just thinking the same thing.
His whole career was in the American League. Swing and a miss. Contreras fires to Rizzo. So Lester works around the error and keeps the Reds off the board. Cubs Talk podcast. Cubs Senior VP of Scouting and Player Development Jason McLeod joins our Patrick Mooney to discuss the upcoming draft as well as top prospects Ian Happ and Dylan Cease. Subscribe today. Happ's a prospect, but he's in the big leagues. Former Cub Arismendi Alcantara now playing right. First pitch from Robert Stevenson is off the inside on Anthony Rizzo.
And a tough go for the young right-hander. He has pitched 10 times. He's allowed runs in 8 of his 10 appearances, a 7.20 ERA. Giving up a lot of traffic, 22 hits, 13 walks, and 20 innings of work. He's allowed 5 home runs. On-the-job training for the former first-round pick. He's got good stuff, plus heater and a real good curveball. You just saw it there. So you can have the stuff, but the question is, what do you do with it? Can you locate it? You know how to set hitters up.
Deep breath by the righty. And here comes a 2-1, and it's line foul to right.
Anthony dropped the head on 94, hit it hard but foul. Stevenson worked an inning and 2/3 here on Tuesday. Gave up a home run. I believe that was Addison Russell that got him.
It was.
And he hit a bad curveball right after he threw him a real nasty one. And that's kind of the story with Stevenson. As I mentioned, good stuff, but just inconsistent so far. And even as you go back and look at his minor league career, a lot of walks. And if you're walking a lot of guys at the minor league level, that's not going to translate well up here.
Garrett, the starter, could only get through 4. Gave up 6 runs, 5 hits, 4 walks, 2 home runs. Another walk. Cubs lead the league in that category.
Gotta be driving Brian Price crazy, the former pitcher and pitching coach. Watch all these free passes. 4 of the walks issued by the Reds today have come around to score.
Happ 1 for 2, double walk run. The out he made was a line out. Pummeled foul.
The newborn fan club is a perfect gift for parents of new Cubs to showcase what it means to be a Cub for life. Receive a photo from the custom birth announcement on the Wrigley Field marquee, Cubs birth certificate, baby stocking cap, and unique Cubs onesie. Visit Cubs.com/kids for more information.
Bounce to first, foul.
Ian Happ's a new Cub. Do you think he got a onesie?
Well,
Joe Maddon had his way, he would.
they reprise that trip from a couple of years ago. Yeah. And we're going to LA soon. It was the return trip after the Jake Arrieta no-hitter in August of 2015. The Cubs all wore the onesies on the overnight flight. This time he strikes out. Contreras steps in. Well, the ivy really filling up the vines on the outfield wall. Mid-May. Ground ball to the shortstop, Cozart. And that's a 6-4-3 double play. We'll go to the 7th. Cubs 9, Reds nothing.
Clark's Crew, presented by Jewel Osco and Tropicana, is the official kids club of the Chicago Cubs. Team up with Clark as a member of Clark's Crew and receive kid-specific perks, experiences, and merchandise. Visit Cubs.com/kids to sign up your young Cubs so they can be part of the fun all season long.
John Jay now in right.
Got the Chief Justice off the bench.
So he's in for Zobrist.
What's the statute of limitations on Chief Justice references over the course of a 162 game season?
I think you still have a few left. Lined out in the left. Peraza aboard. So the longest start by a Cub this season, 7 innings. It's happened 4 times. Nobody has gotten an out in the 8th. Lester's pitch count in pretty good shape. Had to work a little harder due to the error in the 6th. You know, he'd love to get at least into the 8th today.
Yeah, and you know, the mitigating factor, of course, it's a 9-0 ball game, so there's no need to push him if you're Joe Maddon, unless he had a chance to get the shutout. But then you're probably talking 125 pitches or something like that. Double play here would help.
That's a strike. Our buddy Jim Belushi will conduct the stretch coming up. He's a busy man. Twin Peaks limited series premiering this Sunday. And he's also in an upcoming Woody Allen picture, Wonder Wheel, with Kate Winslet. Two and 2 on Tucker Barnhart. And a nice note from Leonard Pritikin from Silver City, New Mexico. Yesterday, Mr. Pritikin turned 97 years old. Born and raised in Chicago. Moved to New Mexico 30 years ago after he retired. Said
97. Wow, happy birthday.
A Cub fan starting in about 1932 or 33. The big bat was Chuck Klein. Well, he got his ground ball. Unfortunately, it got to the outfield. So back-to-back singles to start this 7th inning. Here's Alcantara now playing right. Thanks to Gene Wenzel. Sent us a nice note. In the dirt for a ball.
Man, he's throwing hard.
Almost into your living room.
Acoustics out there are great for a pitcher's self-confidence. Well, that's the other thing, you know, Lester's been outstanding here today, and the last thing you want to do if you're Joe Maddon is have him be out there and all of a sudden a 4 or 5 spot goes up on the board. I mean, the Cubs don't feel like they're in any jeopardy of losing this ball game, but he wants to get him up the tunnel into the clubhouse, feeling really good about his effort here today.
Here it comes. It's a strike, and it's 2-2. Another base hit. And around third is Peraza. That breaks the shutout. It's 9-1. And still nobody out.
Yeah, you know, you really can't make the case that John is tiring or that they're starting to figure him out. They're just putting the ball in play and finding some holes here. Again, I think that the question for Joe Maddon now is, do you want to help him out, bring somebody out of that pen, try to save him a couple earned runs if somebody were to pop one here. He's going to send Contreras out to have a chat with Lester, buy a little time for Rondon.
See, this is where my idea of getting rid of the warm-up pitch limit will come into play. So Joe's going to make the move, but he could have made the move earlier, and then you give Hector, if he needs a couple of extra pitches on the mound, let him take it. John will get a great hand, and deservingly so, after another terrific performance here at Wrigley Field. It's 9-1 Cubs in the 7th.
Welcome back. Time for the Weber Sauces and Seasonings call to the pen. First man out of the chute this afternoon is Hector Rondon, pitching for the 17th time. 0-1 with a 3.14 ERA. He's inherited 6 base runners this year. 2 have come around to score. Call grilling flavor up to the bigs.
So Peraza, Barnhart, Alcantara with consecutive singles to start the inning. Top of the order now. And as you said, you know, a 9-0 now 9-1 lead does not feel Precarious by any stretch. Wind blowing out. You've got a Reds offense that has been struggling lately to score runs, but they've got some guys who can do some damage.
Yeah, so this becomes a little bit of an issue for Joe Maddon with the top of the order up, nobody out yet. All of a sudden they put a 4 or 5 run on spot up there on the board. That's going to make things a little dicey. Don't give the opposition an opening. Don't give them that 4th look at a starting pitcher.
There's also psychology about it, right? I mean, last night the Reds came back, made it a 2-run game. But if you had like a 4-0 lead from the first inning until the 8th versus like a 13-1 lead that becomes 13-9 in the 8th. The 13-9 game feels like it's getting away from you.
It feels
because of
losable,
momentum,
for lack of a better word. Yeah.
0-2 on Hamilton, batting on the left side.
Hector's second appearance in this series, worked 2/3 of an inning on Tuesday. Didn't give up anything from 10 pitches. Go ahead, little guy, take it. It's all yours.
Two and two.
Been with the Cubs since 2013. He's a Rule 5 draft pick from the Indians organization. 29 years of age. Best year 2015. He appeared in 72 ball games, collected 30 saves, and had a 1.67 ERA.
Well, if there can be a big pitch in an 8-run lead, this would be it. Certainly don't want to walk Billy Hamilton to load the bases. And he doesn't. But that's out into deep right center. And it's going to one-hop the wall. Barnhart in. And that ball is in the ivy, so it'll be a double. It does save a run, at least for now. As Hamilton would have easily been at third, and Alcantara would have easily scored.
Yeah, so he challenged on 3-2. Hamilton doesn't oftentimes back up the outfielders, so they're played pretty shallow for him. Either way, it was going to be a tough get, even if you're playing deep.
Infield back, second and third, no outs. Cozart swings and misses on a slider. Check swing grounder. Rondon left his feet. He's all right. Close play got him at first. Alcantara scores. Hamilton to third. It's now 9-3. So all 3 runs charged to Lester. Things change in a hurry. I was talking about him maybe getting into the 8th. He ended up pitching 6+, gave up 3 runs.
Yeah, and it was 6 shutout going into the 7th. So, you know, his ERA takes a little bit of a hit with the work the Reds have done here in the 7th inning, but it does not diminish the effort from John Lester here today. He was outstanding. Taking nothing for granted. Chris Bosio out to have a chat with Rondon, with Votto up there.
Look at Votto, what he's done against Rondon.
And maybe that was the message. Whatever you've done in the past, don't do it again. It hasn't worked so well.
Thanks, Coach.
Yeah, thanks for the uplifting message.
Shank foul by Votto.
Yeah, it was Votto again, first pitch hacking, and that wasn't just line drive the other way. He was trying to inflict some serious damage with that hack. The double back in the first came on a first pitch offering. Baby, it's like an amoeba.
Maybe the first time that word's ever been uttered in a big league broadcast. Swing and a miss. 1-2.
I think Votto was looking fastball in there, and so he saw in and he got his swing started, but it was a slider. Feels like he's done enough work inside, wants to shoot for the outside corner.
Got him looking.
Votto complaining that was a quality pitch. Joey sees the video on that one. He'll realize that Rondon got him. Plenty of the plate. At the knees.
Duvall 0 for 3 reached on an error in the 6th inning. Takes strike 1.
First pitch slider command has been an important part of it for Rondon this year. Been able to make that pitch a little bit smaller, a little bit tighter, and find the zone with it. Could have had a lot of these hitters who are up there looking fastball.
Team with 7 hits. Lester's ERA at 3.57 after 6 innings and 3 runs allowed. 2 scored after he left the ball game. Two now on Duvall. Rangers going for their 9th straight win. They've got an 8-2 lead over the fading Phillies in the 7th in Arlington. That'll be a base hit. It's 9-4 as Hamilton's in.
Give the Reds credit. They battled back last night, made it a tight game late. Haven't mailed it in here this afternoon.
Now Suarez, double and 2 strikeouts. And a base hit to right.
Faithful here getting a little restless.
Not a ton of hard hit balls this inning, but everything in play has found some daylight. Scooter Gennett will hit for Stevenson.
Scooter, the former Brewer, hitting .288. Boy, good slugging numbers. .521 slugging percentage. He's 0 for 12 in his career against Hector, which will lead you to one of 2 conclusions: Hector owns him, or is due to get a knock.
He had been primarily a second baseman with Milwaukee, but went into their camp this year, going to play the outfield. So he's a part-time utility player now with the Reds, who claimed him off waivers from the Brewers on March 28th, right before the Reds broke camp. He is a Cincinnati native. And 1 to count. Six hits here for the Reds in the 7th.
Shade Gennett a little bit the other way in the outfield. He is 1 out of 13 as a pinch hitter this year.
Fly ball left field. Happ is there, and it's time for the Mazda 7th inning stretch with Jim Belushi.
Today's guest conductor for Take Me Out to the Ball Game, actor and Chicago native Jim Belushi.
Welcome back! It's so great to be back in sweet home Chicago! A 1, a 2, a 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and crackers.
new premier experience at Wrigley Field with seats featuring prime views and access to an all-exclusive club. The experience will allow fans to enjoy Cubs baseball in a whole new way. Visit CubsPremier.com to join the Premier Client Priority list. It's a good list. You'll want to be on that list.
Michael Lorenzen is now on the list today, following Garrett, Wood, and Stevenson. 9-4 here in the 7th inning. No, look out. Oh, Javi Baez just about got nailed.
Yeah, Javi and the bat boys right there too. That was scary. Addy, one of the league leaders in bat tosses. Goodness.
Baez down.
Baez. Well, this is where we need the cage to protect the on-deck hitter.
Joe's idea. Yeah, Baez is going to vacate. They're going to hit the cage. The other cage. Strikes out.
It was dramatic, though. No, Baez still alive, able to take the at-bat.
5 knocked in. Grand slam, RBI single, intentional walk. And before the game, it was announced a special presentation from Negocios Now, one of the city's largest Latino newspapers, has recognized Javier Baez. The Latinos 40 under 40. For his extraordinary performance during 2016, and also received a plaque. So congrats. Been a good day for Mr. Baez.
Now he's in a hitter's count. Lorenzen's got plus stuff. See if he challenges with a heater here.
Ground ball, center field. 4th time on, 3 out of 3.
Good work. You know, last time he hit that high pitch the other way, just pushed it through the right side of the infield. This time, good controlled swing. Lorenzen did not challenge with a fastball. It was a little slide ball or cutter.
Tommy LaStella pinch hitting. The Blue Jays have suspended Kevin Pillar for 2 games for that incident last night. a strike. 3-1. He walked him. That's 8 walks taken by the Cubs. 1 intentional.
14 in the last 2 days.
$36,023, the paid crowd on a gorgeous day. To the shortstop, Cozart, a bobble! Everybody's safe. Wow.
And when it rains, it pours for the Reds. Not to make excuses for the defenders, but with all the walks, long innings, sometimes it's hard to stay sharp out there, but this looked like an easy double play ball. Just never got the handle.
Bases loaded, 1 out. John Jay takes a strike.
Had a lot of bases loaded opportunities in this series.
Cubs already with a grand slam today. It was Baez in the first. Bobby's at third. Estella at second, and Almora at first.
Tuesday, he allowed a home run in that ball game. Get the sense watching his body language, he's not really thrilled to be out there today. A complete misread on my part.
Another chance for Cozart. He'll step on second. And turns a 6-3 double play. To the 8th. Cubs 9, Reds 4. Moment. It is powered by Xfinity.
Lester continues his outstanding work. Looking to run his streak to 11-0 over the last 15 games now in this ballpark, and contributes with the bat as well. A little sac fly. So as we look at the numbers for this series, the starting pitching, which has struggled a good portion of the year, starting to round into shape. Lackey 5 1/3, 3 runs. Hendricks 6 innings of 2-run baseball, and there's Lester's effort here today. Remember, every one of these games very much a hitter's environment with the wind howling out.
Left-hander Brian Dunsing, part of a Cubs bullpen that ranks 2nd in the National League in ERA. He replaces Rondon. Peraza, who began the 4-run 7th with a base hit off Lester, takes a strike.
Dunsing last worked on Sunday against the Cardinals. Worked 2 innings, allowed a run on 5 hits.
A roller to the shortstop, Russell.
Snapped a streak of 8 appearances that he had not allowed a run through 48 pitches in that game, so he was due for a couple of days off. There's a man at work.
I think members of Colin Hayes' band back in the day, instead of saying I'm a member of Men at Work, just said I'm a man at work.
I'm a man at work.
And easier.
Give me a Vegemite sandwich while you're at it.
Okay, that's overkill. 1 strike on Barnhart. And 2. So the wind now going more out toward right. But it changes with the wind.
The wind does.
Yeah. I mean, if other things can change with the wind, I don't know why the wind can't change with it as well. Well, Contreras is all right. Shook it off. Three-two, called strike 3.
Now, Dunsing not really overpowering, but he's not the finesse guy that you might think. I mean, he gets a lot of swings and misses with that curveball, and then he plants that curveball in the hitter's mind, and he's able to slip that heater by him.
Well, a win today, and the Cubs would complete their first sweep of the year. On the outside corner to Alcantara. 2-1. He's bounced to Chris Bryant. So Dunsing, nice work in the 8th. 9-4 Cubs.
.com. eClick is located right here in Chicagoland and rated A+ by the Better Business Bureau. eClick Lending. Your mortgage just happened.
Right-hander Drew Storen for the Reds here in the 8th. Cubs lead by 5.
Second look at Storen in this series. Having a nice year. Longtime national. Toronto and the Mariners last year, now back in the NL. Former first-round pick out of Stanford University. But the same year they got Strasburg, right? Didn't they take he and Strasburg both in the first round? Or was it the Harper year? I know they had 2 first-round picks that year.
Look it up. One and one the count.
Walk, punch out, home run straightaway center, and a line out to short for Chris today.
It was Strasburg Storen, 1st and 10th overall. Stanford against University of San Diego. Drive to right. Alcantara tracking, battling the sun. Hefty home run time. Grand slam. Baez first inning on a hanger. And then Bryant in the 4th.
Pretty much just sealed the fate of the Red starter, Amir Garrett. He was out after 4, but I've noticed his A remains. His A is still there on the mound. He scraped it into the front of the mound when he started the ball game. Trust me, it's there. Maybe it stands for Anthony.
It could.
There it is. About 3 hours ago, we were talking about under the weather.
Yeah.
Remember that? I looked it up. And like so many of those idioms, it has its origins, at least according to this story I'm looking at, in nautical time, you know, maritime world. So if a sailor was sick, they would put him below deck so he wouldn't have to deal with the rocking of the ship as much. So literally below the weather in stormy seas.
Makes all the sense in the world.
Get down there below the weather, you'll be okay.
Swing and a miss. 2-2. By the way, that same draft, 2009, in the 18th round, 532 overall, shortstop Marcus Stroman was taken by the Nationals. Yeah. And he did not sign, however. That was out of high school. Later went 22nd overall to the Blue Jays 3 years later out of Duke.
3 years of one position change.
So another walk. Here comes Happ. Here comes the pitch. It's a strike. How about that? Suarez way off the line. An opposite field ground ball hit for Ian Happ. Third time he's reached base.
Ian Happ, by his play, is screaming loud and clear, I'm done with AAA. I want no part of that world anymore. I'm a big leaguer.
Cup of coffee here at the big leagues might last a little longer. Yeah. Contreras, a walk and a run in the first inning. Low and outside from Storen. Missed again. They 7th against the Yanks. Cubs took 10 walks. That would have been the 18-inning game. Ground ball to third, fair. Double play. 5-3. Suarez to Votto. To the night. Cubs 9, Reds 4. Tomorrow on CSN, former Cub Kerry Wood will be filling in for JD, and join me for the series opener against the Milwaukee Brewers. Coverage starts at 12:30 with Cubs pregame live, presented by Fields Auto Group, or stream live at CSNChicago.com. No matter what happens in that Brewer game today, they're trailing 2-1 in San Diego in the 6th. They will be in first place because the Cardinals are off. Milwaukee a half a game ahead of St. Louis. Ryan Dunsing with a 1-2-3-8. Back out for the 9th. Top 3, Hamilton, Cozart, Votto for the Reds. And a first pitch strike on a curve. A base hit. Hamilton has 2 today in 5 tries. You got to believe Dunsing, well, I guess I would ask, will he pay any attention to Hamilton?
No, they're not even going to hold him on.
Hamilton will take second base as that ball trickled away from Contreras.
So that hit, the Reds have actually out-hit the Cubs here today, 10-9. The Cubs' ability and willingness to take walks.
Just in case, it's Koji Uehara. Passed ball charge to Contreras. Here comes a 1-1. It's high and wide. Finals: Pirates 10, Nationals 4. Tigers 6, Orioles 5. Detroit now a game over 500. Rockies beat the Twins in game 1 of their doubleheader 5-1.
He's making a little noise late, but the Rangers with an 8-4 lead in the 9th, looking to win their 9th in a row.
Pulled into left. Hamilton had to freeze on the liner. Stop at third.
Two-hit day for Cozart, who came into play batting .350. Another first pitch swing from Votto.
Dunsing with an 0-1. It's a strike. As a sign, Contreras sets up toward the outside, and the pitch taken. Make it 1-2. I mean, you're 0-2 on Joey Votto, and you had some numbers last night. Votto could probably just rest the bat on his shoulder, knowing nobody's going to throw him a strike, right?
They should. The better the hitter, the more willing you should be able to attack when you have him down in the count. I think it's that plus his willingness to change his approach. And we've seen it with Rizzo too. Choke up, widen the legs, use the hands, fight off tough pitches just to stay alive. Yeah, after 0-2, his on-base percentage was .478 or something crazy like that.
Got to include a fair amount of walks. 0-2 to 3-2. But even with a 5-run lead, you treat 0-2 against Votto like you would in any score, right? It feels that way.
Yeah, I like attack mode. The better the hitter, the more you should be on the attack. You know, when you get the jump on him. Especially the guys that have power that can do damage.
Another payoff pitch, and he hit him. And that'll load the bases, and that'll be it for Dunsing. Here comes Joe.
The Reds, these last two games, they've been like Jason in those Friday the 13th movies. They just don't go away.
Right. They certainly don't want to go away quietly. So, trouble in the ninth. The Cubs do have a 5-run lead, but the Reds have the tying run on deck.
MLB.com at Bat mobile app. Stay connected to the game's best players all season long with Game Day. Live game video highlights, radio broadcasts, stats, news, and more. Download MLB.com at Bat today. It's your #1 app for live baseball.
Time for the Weber's Sauces and Seasonings call to the pen, and this is a save spot for Koji Uehara. Because if you do the math, bases loaded, 5-run lead, the tying run is on deck all of a sudden.
The graphic there on Uehara, 1 home run allowed this year. That came the other night to Joey Votto.
Hamilton at third, Cozart at second, and Votto at first. Cubs need outs.
This is a little bit of a scary proposition. Duvall, a power guy. Uehara, a fly ball pitcher on a windy day. Also a swing and miss pitcher. It's Duvall flailing at the split finger pitch. Great look at it there. Uehara, one of the elder statesmen, he's 42 years of age.
We have a nice under the radar offseason signing. The defending world champions. In the air. Looks like the ball could stay in, and it will. Thanks to the wind. That'll be the first out. It'll end up being a sac fly as Hamilton scores, but Uehara will gladly take the exchange as Happ made the catch. 9-5, 1 out.
Just get outs, and Duvall never left the batter's box. Just assume that was a foul ball the whole way. He thinks he's yanked this one well foul. He's thinking about what he's going to do with the next pitch.
Suarez bounces foul. Nine to 5 Cubs Tuesday, 7-5 Cubs Wednesday. Currently 9-5 today. Strike 3, 2 outs.
Third punch out for Suarez today. Shatters his bat in frustration. Let's throw a two-seamer, and that Hickox got the inside corner. Suarez not so much.
One of the 3 catchers on the roster, Stuart Turner. Rule 5 pick from the Twins. 0-1. A strike away from the Cubs' first sweep of the year. 0-2 on the rookie Turner. Cubs win. Cubs win 9-5 the final. They sweep the Reds and are 2 games over 500 through 40.
Well, the hope was return home, get some warm weather, heat up the bat, start to win some games. So far, so good here as they win 3 in a row to get this homestand started. Big day for Javi Baez. Drives in 5. Zobrist had a couple of knocks. Bryant went deep. John Lester got some run support for one of the few times this year.
Toast of the game is presented by Benny's Beverage Depot. Javier Baez is the man today, honored before the game, and had a huge day at the plate. Benny's Beverage Depot is the official champagne provider of the Chicago Cubs.
It was a 5-run second inning yesterday and a 5 spot in the first here today. And Baez providing the power with the grand slam. Game on.
Time for our On the Diamond interview presented by James & Sons Fine Jewelers. Kelly.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. Well, Javi, what a day for you. The big award before the game. You go 3 for 3 at the plate, but none bigger than that grand slam in the first inning. Walk us through that at bat and all the plate appearances before you.
Well, you know, I had a plan the whole AB, and you know, just looking for a mistake. He left a slider up, and you know, I got to get to it and just went out.
You know, it wasn't but just a week ago people were questioning this team's offense, and here over the last 3 games, you guys have put up almost 30-some runs. Plate appearances from guys are just a difference with the weather. What has it been?
You know, we're just trying to make one adjustment in one pitch in one AB. You know, we've been trying to make our adjustments. You know, obviously, we've been talking to each other. You know, trying to get the next guy to come hit, and you know, not trying to be the hero of it.
Taking the pressure off one another. Lastly, what did you do to Addison Russell that he's throwing his bat at you?
Oh, I don't know. You know, I've seen a lot of that. So, you know, I saw the first one, and then I saw the bat coming at me, and I knew it wasn't going to hit me. But the second one was really close, so I was like, oh wow. But
it all worked out. Cubs get a W. You get to go celebrate. Thank you, Javi.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
6th home run of the year for Javier Baez, and it was a big one, guys.
Thank you, Kelly. It certainly was. And Mr. Baez gets a gift card courtesy of James & Sons Fine Jewelers. JD, have a great weekend. Congrats
Thank
to
you very much.
your daughter, Kelly.
Thank
and
you.
You'll be back with us on Sunday. Kerry Wood will join me tomorrow. Ryan Dempster on Saturday. And for JD, for Kelly Kroll, our entire CSN crew here at Wrigley Field, Len Casper with your final. Cubs 9, Reds 5. 12:30 for our pregame coverage tomorrow as the Brewers come to town. Stay tuned. More to come. Blue Cross Blue Shield Cubs postgame live is next.